it's Doris with all the books. So I was just getting ready to film a video this morning, and as I was getting ready, I was watching BookTube, as we are all want to do, I am sure. And lo and behold, there was Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading with a tag video. She doesn't do a lot of those, so I said I gotta watch that right away. And lo and behold, it was her own original tag video. So I said, oh, I want to do that right now. This is her hashtag #ReadSoulLit tag. If you're not familiar, Dee Dee every year hosts hashtag #ReadSoulLit across several platforms. Yeah, several. So I had to think about that. She always pops in to YouTube and does several videos. She's very active on Instagram with posts and Instagram stories, and she does a daily Instagram challenge so that you can participate in that as well. There's lots of content there, and there's always a read-along that she hosts on Goodreads. And then this year she's really stepping up the games. On Saturdays, they're having live chats with several booktubers, and then there's this tag. So yes, #ReadSoulLit tag. And I have such a stack here that I had to get a second chair for my books. And per usual, I have my little notes just quickly written out here, so pardon me, Dee Dee, they're not as well written as yours were, because yeah, just notes. I'm in a hurry here, I'm going to lunch. So jumping right in, these are great. Number one, the books you're looking forward to reading for Black History Month. So several of these, but ones that didn't fit into other categories are, and I'm doing lots of buddy reads. I've got it here. I'm so sorry. It's got to go. I'm doing lots of buddy reads this month, and so these are the buddy reads. Let's start out with Dee Dee's. So Unforgivable Love by Sophronia Scott. This is a retelling of Dangerous Liaisons, and this is actually the read-along that Dee Dee is hosting on Goodreads. So you can join in with that if you are interested. I am also doing a buddy read with Sean, the Book Maniac, and Justin from Ghost Reader, and Karen from RunWright Reads. And we're reading The Known World by Edward P. Jones. This is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and I'm not quite sure. I read the blurb, and I'm still not quite sure, but it seems like it's the story of a widow, and her husband was somewhat prominent in the community, and she's having trouble after his death with the estate. Not quite sure, but I think it's going to be a winner. And then also I'm reading this one with Justin, Cane River by Lolita Tatamy. And this is 4 generations of women, Creole story on the banks of the Louisiana River. So looking forward to that one. I think it'll be something I can really sink into. Ooh, it's got pictures. Nice. I didn't know that. Okay. Next up, a classic of African American literature published before 1970. So that would have to be Zora Neale Hurston. Oh, I love her. She's my new favorite. I have already read Their Eyes Were Watching God, which is perceived as her masterpiece. I'm currently reading Jonah's Gourdvine, which is her debut novel, and I might end up loving it more than Their Eyes Were Watching God. Jury is still out. I am at the halfway point. I just love this Jonah's Gourdvine, her first, is written mostly in dialogue and phonetically in the speech patterns of the American South, but not just the American South, Alabama and North Florida, where I am from. So it just really sings to me. I love it so much, so very much. The next one, number 3, is a book that you would like to see adapted to film. I'm so excited. This one is being adapted to film. Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. I am in love with this man. He is everything. He's so funny, but he is so intelligent and so very insightful, and adorable. And Lupita is going to play his mom. If you haven't read this book, this is great. I read it. This is his memoir of growing up in South Africa and right before the end of apartheid, and he was a mixed race individual, and so good all the way through. It doesn't even touch on, it's not about him becoming famous. It's about, this is a tribute to his mother. This is beautiful. This book is beautiful. I could gush for this whole video, but I'll stop now. But yes, I read it, and then the very next year I listened to it on audio at Christmas, and you know, that might just be a yearly tradition. I love it that much. Okay, number 4, give some love to male authors, because we gush a lot about female authors here. So obviously this would have been my first choice for this category, but I have 2 more. This is another author I gush about from time to time, Christopher Paul Curtis. He writes middle grades books, and they are delightful, absolutely delightful. He usually gives a bit of a historical bent to them, and his literary skills are stellar. He's funny. He's just deep with family ties, and this is my absolute favorite. This is one of my all-time favorite books. The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963. Oh, I love it. I love it. And another great new author is Ta-Nehisi Coates. I just read We Were 8 Years in Power last year, and this is a series of essay collections, one for each year of the Obama administration for the New Yorker magazine, and he is rapier sharp. And what I really liked about this is it's also somewhat of a memoir, in that the intro to each essay, he talks about where he was in life and as a writer, and what his thoughts were at the time, and it's just great, really great. Okay, what new releases are you looking forward to? And I'm not sure about this one, except for a book I don't yet have, but Dee Dee mentions it in her video. I will link it below. We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. I just have seen that everywhere all of a sudden, and I'm very much intrigued. Okay, number 6. Toni Morrison is often referenced as the queen of African American literature. Who do you think the next queen will be? I don't feel like I can answer that question, but Dee Dee mentions Bernice L. McFadden, who I have been wanting to read, and I don't know why I haven't yet. This is one of her favorites of Bernice's, the Book of Harlan. So hopefully I will get to this month. I'm also very much coveting praise songs for the Butterflies that she just put out last year, but I've told myself I have to read this one first, so incentive. And I also would like to see more about, maybe that's not the word, maybe I see a lot about is what I mean to say. Jesmyn Ward, Sing Unburied Sing, is one that she got a lot of praise for last year. I also read The Fire This Time, which was an essay collection that she kind of spearheaded. And I don't necessarily, I've only read those two things, and I don't really necessarily, I like her. I don't know if I love her yet. I need to read more. But I really respect the power that I'm seeing from her in the literary world. She's very well respected. And with Bernice L. McFadden, what I like so much about her, even though I haven't read her, is I follow her on Twitter, and I just have a great deal of respect for her online persona thus far. So there's that. Number 7, the last book that you've given 4 or 5 stars to for Read Sold It. Yes, I have 2 of those that I read concurrently, and it was just a great reading experience to read these together. They just worked. So, Wrapped in Rainbows, The Life of Zora Neale Hurston by Valerie Boyd. Oh man, this is Valerie here. I thought she did a brilliant job with this biography. She really used Zora's words as much as possible, but she kind of wove them together to create a great narrative, very insightful, and I just fell in love with Zora through this biography. I'd already read Their Eyes Were Watching God and liked it a lot, but this really gave me a great appreciation for Zora and her life. And a really strong interest in the Harlem Renaissance, which I will talk about soon in another question. And while I was reading that, I was also reading Becoming by Michelle Obama, and wow, I cried and cried several times throughout that book. It was just really hits home. I mean, she just wrote beautifully and shared so much, but not too much. And just, you know, what it is to be a wife, a mother, a woman, a career woman, a daughter. Oh, it was beautiful, really beautiful. Number 8, a beautiful book. This is one of my all-time favorites. This is stunning. This is a book that I coveted based on the cover alone. It's the UK edition. I think it's brilliant. Whoever designed this deserved an award. And wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah. I mean, this is just that. Did you see the silhouette? It's just, this is a stunningly put together book. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry, that was Homegoing by Jesse. I just am so blown away by the beauty of that piece of art. Okay, number 9. I didn't write this question down very well, but I will link Dee Dee's video, and she has the questions in there. But this is people that you, in African American literature or Read Sold It literature, that you want to read to learn more about. And that, like I mentioned with Wrapped in Rainbows, I am extremely interested in the Harlem Renaissance after reading that. I don't really like the Roaring Twenties. It never seems to interest me. The Great Gatsby, I just am a little bit bored by it, although I think it's really well taught in the classroom environment at times. But yeah, but I'm really turned on to the Harlem Renaissance. So, 2 books that I have found since reading Wrapped in Rainbows that I want to read soon are The Blacker the Berry by Wallace Thurman. And this is a book based on exploring the prejudice in the Black community based on skin tone. So, this, and I think it's a gorgeous cover. yeah, this woman was born in a light-skinned family, the mother and the stepfather, but she is darker skinned and feels prejudice growing up and ends up moving to Harlem to attend university, I believe, and yeah. And then when Washington was in vogue, and this is a soldier, a veteran after World War I, and life in Washington, D.C., and I believe one is epistolary. So, I have those. And then, number 10, currently reading. So, I mentioned I'm currently reading the Zora Neale Hurston's Jonah's Gourdvine, and also I'm reading How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. This is a short story collection, and she is a fantasy and science fiction. There was a dust mote there. I don't know why I just did that. Yeah, she's a science fiction fantasy author of the Broken Earth trilogy, which was just brilliant, really deep intellectually, that one. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm not loving it. Part of that is due to the fact that science fiction is not my favorite, and a lot of these are more sciencey than fantasy-y. Anyway, but there are about 6 so far standout stories that I'm loving. So I mean, it's good, it's really enjoyable, but yeah, it's long too. A lot of pages in there. Okay, and then lastly, who am I tagging? And I will link all of these below as well. So I'm tagging my Read Soul Lit buddy reading crew. So that is Sean the Book Maniac, Karen from RunWright Reads, and Justin from Ghost Reader. And I also want to tag Stephanie from Time to Read ! And Maya with an I, and Nicole is Here to Learn. So I will link all of them down below. They have lovely channels if you haven't met them, as well as Dee Dee. So you can, if you don't know Dee Dee yet, shocker if you don't, but she has lovely across all the social media platforms. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.